For weeks, The View hosts mocked Karoline Leavitt's $800 million lawsuit like it was a joke. They rolled their eyes. They cracked jokes. They dismissed it as nothing more than political theater. But now, those same women are visibly rattled. Behind the scenes, ABC is scrambling, and insiders say the hosts are begging her to settle before it blows up their entire house of cards. Because this isn't just a defamation case. It's a ticking legal time bomb. And it might take down daytime TV's most iconic table talk show. When the news broke that Karoline Leavitt had filed an $800 million defamation lawsuit against The View, the reaction from the hosts wasn't shock, fear, or even concern. It was laughter. From the moment the lawsuit was mentioned on air, the panel broke into smirks, eye rolls, and audible scoffs. Joy Behar wasted no time turning it into a punchline, saying, "Oh please, she's just another conservative crying victim." Whoopi Goldberg chuckled, adding that the case would disappear faster than a guest who says something off script. Sunny Hostin, the group's in-house legal commentator, dismissed the suit as baseless and dead on arrival, insisting it had no standing and would be tossed by any real judge. It wasn't just sarcasm, it was outright mockery. Broadcast to millions of viewers, amplified by viral clips, and repeated across major media networks. The hosts weren't just confident, they were smug. They acted as if the lawsuit was a bad joke, filed by someone beneath their platform. No serious discussion, no balanced take, just sound bites and smirks. And to make matters worse, they framed Karoline not as a person, not even as a public figure with a legitimate grievance, but as a punchline. The View had turned a legal threat into daytime comedy, but behind the scenes, that comedy wasn't landing well, especially with ABC's legal team, who were now watching as their top-rated talk show hosts openly mocked a woman who just handed them a legal grenade. Because while the hosts were still laughing, Karoline Leavitt was lawyering up. ABC's legal department was already in crisis mode. Leavitt's legal team came out swinging, with sealed evidence, testimony, and serious defamation claims. Whispers started to spread through legal circles. This case isn't just real, it might actually win. Suddenly, everything changed. ABC execs were split. One group wanted to fight, go to court, defend the show. But the other group, they were terrified. They knew that if this lawsuit saw daylight in court, private emails, production notes, and internal footage could all be exposed. This wasn't just defamation, this was about how The View really operates behind the scenes. When word hit the dressing rooms that ABC was considering a settlement, all hell broke loose. Whoopi Goldberg exploded in a private meeting. "Are you kidding me? We're actually taking her seriously now?" Joy Behar stormed into the hallway yelling, "We built this damn show! We made this network millions!" Even Sunny Hostin, usually calm, reportedly told a producer, "This isn't just noise. If this hits court, we're all getting dragged into it." The mood turned from smug to scared, and fast. Then came the moment no one saw coming. The View flipped the script. Live. Gone were the jokes and sarcasm. Whoopi opened with a deep sigh and said, "I think we all just need to take a step back here." Joy followed, nervously fumbling with her cards. "I don't know why this has to go so far. Can't we just sit down like adults?" And then Sunny, the same woman who said the case had no legs, looked straight at the camera and said, "Karoline, if you're watching, I think there's a way we can resolve this without court." That wasn't just a change in tone. That was a white flag. But the internet wasn't buying it. As soon as the clip aired, social media erupted. Comments poured in. "If you weren't guilty, you wouldn't be begging." "This is the most scripted damage control I've ever seen." "Too late, ladies. You mocked her for weeks." Memes exploded. One showed Whoopi laughing next to a shot of her mid-apology. Another showed Joy with the caption, "Built the show, built the problem." YouTube creators, TikTok commentators, and news personalities pounced, calling it one of the biggest public backpedals in live TV history. What started as a lighthearted jab from The View quickly became a full-blown crisis behind the scenes at ABC. Once Karoline Leavitt made it clear she wasn't going to settle, panic reportedly set in across the network. Executives who had previously brushed off the lawsuit as political noise were now holding emergency meetings. The tone inside the building shifted, from amused to alarmed. Legal teams combed through hours of unaired footage, combing transcripts, reviewing internal emails, and questioning producers on exactly what was said and when. The risk wasn't just financial, it was reputational. If the lawsuit proceeded to discovery, that meant anything relevant could be subpoenaed. Off-air comments, behind-the-scenes decisions, internal communications, even casual text messages exchanged between hosts and staff. Nothing was safe. Meanwhile, ABC's marketing and PR teams scrambled to draft a response strategy, unsure whether to double down or pull back entirely. Sponsors and advertisers, sensing the heat, began quietly pulling their support, delaying campaign rollouts, pausing promotions, and distancing themselves from the controversy without issuing public statements. The View's hosts, who were once the network's untouchable stars, were suddenly on edge. Producers limited unscripted moments, guest bookings became more cautious, and every segment was now filtered through a legal lens before going live. This wasn't just a media firestorm, this was an institutional meltdown, one that exposed just how vulnerable even the biggest platforms can be when they underestimate who they're up against, and just how much power a well-timed lawsuit can hold. Karoline Leavitt's lawsuit isn't just about being insulted on TV. It's about how media uses its platform to shape or destroy public figures. It's about accountability and commentary, and it's about drawing the line between free speech and targeted defamation. If she wins, or even pushes this to trial, it sends a message to every panel show, every network, and every commentator. You don't get to smear people without consequences. The View has survived scandals. They've weathered guest walkouts, host firings, and viral backlash. But this feels different, because this time, they didn't just say the wrong thing, they underestimated the wrong woman. And now, their careers, their reputations, and their legacy might all depend on whether Karoline Leavitt decides to accept a deal or drag them into open court. Spoiler alert, she's not backing down. The View tried to laugh it off, then they tried to spin it. Now they're hoping it all just goes away. But Karoline Leavitt, she's just getting started. This is Behind the Light Stick, where the truth behind the headlines comes to life. Smash that like button, drop your take in the comments, subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Because this story, it's not even close to over.